Okay, welcome.
Welcome to
today's.
today's. Oh, you're throwing that back to me? We didn't align on who's going to say this.
Today's Stoic.
Yes, welcome to today's Daily Stoic. Wonderful. Yes. This is our first time trying to do an introduction.
We'll
so
get it out.
Here we are.
Introduction.
You've been welcomed.
We have landed.
Okay. So here we are on April 11th of the Daily Stoic. And the title of today is, If You Want to Learn, Be Humble.
Humble, yes. That's hard to do.
Yeah, I'm always surprised with humility that sometimes I think I know what it means, and then I'm reminded that humility is even deeper than how I currently think about it.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, like I think I understand it, and then humility, something happens, and I'm like, whoa. Like humility is actually more deep than this, because it's like this like realistic filter through which you're like, oh my gosh, like bad things, crazy things, things that I have no idea are happening all the time. And how could I know anything in the state of reality being this constantly changing thing all the time, everywhere?
Yeah, we can't. I don't think we can. Yeah.
All right, so let's learn from Epictetus today.
Yes.
Throw out your conceited opinions, for it is impossible for a person to begin to learn what he thinks he already knows.
Very cool. Yeah, I like it. It's all about, when the second we think that we know something, it's like we that's the proof we don't know.
When you think to yourself, I know something, that has to be false.
There has to be there you might I don't know. That's hard to even say, because like knowing something, what is knowing? I can recall some data from memory. Well, that's like memory recall, but do I know something? Do I know that recalling the data right now is going to get me some result? We don't know anything. It's interesting. Yeah, very cool.
Okay, so Ryan Holiday, I'm just moving on with that.
Yeah, let's go.
Today, Ryan says, of all the Stoics, Epictetus is the closest one to a true teacher. He had a school. He hosted classes. In fact, his wisdom is passed down to us through a student who took really good lecture notes. Cool, I didn't know that. One of the things that frustrated Epictetus about philosophy students, and has frustrated all college professors since time began, is how students claim to want to be taught, but really secretly believe they already know everything. The reality is that we are all guilty of thinking we know it all, and we'd all learn more if we could set that attitude aside. As smart or successful as we may be, there's always someone who is smarter, more successful, and wiser than us. Emerson put it well. Every man I meet is my master in some point, and in that I learn of him. If you want to learn, if you want to improve your life, seeking out teachers, philosophers, and great books is a good start. But this approach will only be effective if you're humble and ready to let go of opinions you already have.
Yeah, I like it. That's very cool. Because he's talking about also like it's not only like learning from like books and these coaches and masters, but also like learning from day-to-day interaction with everybody, because it's like it's easy to think I'm in this learning mode here. I am in this mode. I am open to accept all the information, but then I'm going out to the world, and now I say I'm not in this learning mode. I'm in this I know mode type of a
You mean
thing.
like when you go to your job or
Or it's a
something?
job, or even just like a grocery store or something, and then you might have interactions with people, and you act like you know better. You know more than they do, because you're no longer in this learning mode. So it's like we're in that mode all the time, and we can learn from all the experiences. So it's like there's no like a boundary. Like I'm here. I'm in the school. This is like we're in school, so that's where I'm learning. Then I'm going home. I'm no longer learning. But the idea is that like there is no boundary there.
Yeah.
So I say like I gotta be humble. Almost try to be humble always. Not just in like cherry picking when I am humble. When it's convenient or something, When I want to show my humility. Yeah, thank you.
Like when you want to perform
Perform it or
humility for
something,
someone
yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm trying to like kind of map what humility feels like internally, because it's one of those like vague things that I know it, I talk about it, but then it's still like kind of an abstract noun sometimes. And so it's striking me at the moment that humility is this like internal acknowledgement that there's more here that I don't know. It's like in any situation, am I being humble or not? Is like, well, am I making space for the fact that there are things that I don't know here? Or am I behaving, talking, speaking in a way that suggests that I have all the information I need, and I'm certain of this, and I know this, and I'm going to come into this situation strong with this point of view? I wouldn't come into a situation like that if there was in my thinking process this space for like, there's more to learn. There's always more to learn.
Yeah. Always, yeah. Every interaction, there's a possibility to learn something new, some new perspective, right? Because that interaction is interacting with something, and that something has this other view on that thing that you're interacting about.
And it's amazing how often when like I'm interacting with some things, I will like have sort of written them off. Like, I can't really get anything from this source. Or this person is only good for this thing, but this other thing, And I kind of come into
cherry picking of
a situation already deciding how valuable this thing could possibly be to me.
Yeah, like I am not gonna learn anything here.
Right.
Therefore, I can treat it very kind of
dismissive for sure. Yeah.
Stuff,
And that's what it is. Like, to think that I know something is already dismissive, because it's already a fact that I can't know it, because there's more information outside of my brain that in the context of this whole situation. So this is like a really big lesson for me, because I have kind of learned how to assert my point of view in situations. And I'm seeing this even like at work, you know, with like communication challenges or something. Like, it's so easy for me to be like, here's what's happening here. And then like the moment I lay out the points of the here's what's happening here, and like, you know, let's say I write them down or I just kind of go through them in my head, I'm like, wait, like I can't believe this thing because I don't have the information needed to have a point of view on this. But I've got myself worked up as if so-and-so is doing this, or, you know, like this person is involved in this way, in this thing, and I've got myself all wrapped up in it. And then I take a moment to look at it and I'm like, oh crap, like actually, no, none of that's true.
Yeah, it brings up this thing I was talking about today about like expectations, and this is kind of hitting the same area of meaning or something. Like we we set up like we're dreaming about something, like, oh, that would be cool if this and this worked out this way or that way, and then we are trying to live the reality, and then we're comparing the reality to that image that we created, let's say a month ago, right? And then I'm like, well, is it about that image that we created? Like, is that the issue, or is that the comparing it to the reality, what's currently, you know, how it actually is, or like, where is there a problem? Like, why is like why when the plan doesn't work out, why are we so bent out of shape? And it's like, it's not the imagining part. Like, yes, I have to keep doing that because that's a good thing to be doing, and then I also need to be planning. So I'm trying to hit something in the future, yes. And then I need to be also comparing it to that plan. So like measuring, am I on the track to that plan? Yes. But the issue is with the expectation of saying it will work out the way I think it will. Like, I'm making this plan and I want the future to be the way I planned it. And I somehow, so it's like I then take all the imagination stuff and I wrap it in this package of expectation, and now I'm trying to compare that through this bubble of expectation to the reality, and it never matches. And then you know, I get bent out of shape, like like my plans never come true, right? Versus like, hey, these plans should always be. They should not be in this expectation bubble, and they should be open to continuous changes
and improvement based on
reality. And
yeah.
it needs to be more cohesive that way, not this like these milestone-y type of way of doing it or something.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's I kind of think about it like it's totally valid to have like an ideal outcome imagined, and then to like kind of create the beginning of a plan that gets some forward movement happening. And then as forward movement starts happening, it needs to be compared against that ideal outcome to see, do we need to re-baseline our expectations here based on how reality is going? Because we don't know. Reality might take us in a completely different way. So we need to be able to take that ideal outcome and like move it on the board with us based on like where reality is like sort of casting the fishing line into the ocean or something.
How it actually is working out.
Yeah. And that's like the humility too of just being like, there's a component of this that I am not in charge of.
Not in charge of, yes, thank you.
There is a component that I am in charge of, and that is my life task to sort through that. Because where I get into trouble is I'm constantly trying to mess with the part that I don't have control in,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm neglecting the part that I do have control in.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like all of my problems. Like if I can figure out how to like take full responsibility for the stuff inside my domain and then remove myself, detach myself from whatever happens in the realm I don't have control in, like I will be set up to handle reality.
Much better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
much better than right now, where
Or
like you're
something,
saying
yeah.
I'm getting bent out of
It
shape.
would just be improved. Yeah, it would just like the machine would work better. The system would work better.
That's
More
what I'm
optimized.
after. That's what I'm
Yeah.
after.
Not perfect, just
No.
better, just smoother. or
Continuous
something, yeah.
improvement, man. It's
Yeah.
Scrum.
Yeah, exactly.
I really love
Yeah.
this one. The
Yeah,
humility
that's good.
lesson always makes me feel so good. Like to think about it, to talk about it, to even to live it, you know, like when you have a moment where you're like, man, like
That's interesting,
I
yeah.
feel like humbled by something.
Mm.
Like it's a good feeling in my body. It's like this relief.
Relief or something, yeah.
Like, oh, thank goodness it isn't all up to me. And I'm supposed to know everything and be the solution for everything and be in charge of how all of this happens, you know? Like that's a lot of fucking pressure, man. So it's like, oh, thank you for the humility.
That's good, yeah. That's
Right?
awesome. Yeah, it's excellent.
All right. See you tomorrow.